She is a witch! She is a witch! She is a witch! Ngozi, wife of the late Emeka, stepped forward. You stand before the gods and before this village. If you are innocent, the deity will protect you. But if you lie, will judge you and you will die.
I will so deal with you, you haven't seen anything.
Drink and speak the truth.
Wife of Emeka, swear before the gods, I did not kill my husband. If I am lying, let the gods judge me. But if I am innocent, let the truth be revealed.
Obinna and his elder brother, Emeka, grew up in the same village, but their lives turned out very different. Emeka was respected. He was hardworking, calm, and wise. He owned farmland, a big house, and a thriving palm oil business. Most importantly, he had a beautiful wife named Ngozi. Ngozi was gentle, intelligent, and respected by everyone. Their marriage looked peaceful, but there was one person who watched them with growing jealousy: Obinna. At first, it was small envy. He wanted Emeka's money. He wanted Emeka's respect. But slowly, his desire changed. He began wanting something else: Ngozi. Whenever she greeted him politely, his heart beat faster. Whenever he visited their house, he stared too long. Ngozi noticed it. She became careful around him. But Emeka trusted his younger brother completely. That trust would later cost him everything. Obinna began to believe something. He believed his brother had everything that should have been his: the land, the business, the house, and the wife. One night, in anger, he said to himself, "If Emeka was not here, everything would belong to me." That thought frightened him at first, but greed has a way of growing. Soon, he started visiting a native doctor in a distant village. The man was known for dark charms. Obinna explained his problem. The native doctor listened quietly. Then he said, "Some problems require sacrifice." Obinna hesitated, but his jealousy was stronger than his fear. Soon, strange rituals began. Animals were sacrificed, charms were prepared, and Obinna was told one final warning: what you send out can return to you if you are not careful. But Obinna did not listen. One evening, Emeka returned from his farm feeling weak. He complained of strange pain. Within 2 days, his condition became worse. No medicine helped. Then, suddenly, he died. The village was shocked. Emeka had been healthy and strong. Ngozi collapsed in grief. But Obinna cried louder than everyone. He carried the coffin. He organized the burial. He comforted the widow. Nobody suspected him. At least, not yet. After the burial, Obinna began visiting Ngozi more often. At first, he pretended to help. He brought food, he handled some farm matters, but slowly his behavior changed. One evening, he said something that shocked her. "You should not live alone. I can take care of you now." Ngozi stared at him in disbelief. "You are my husband's brother." But Obinna smiled. In our culture, a brother can marry his brother's widow. Ngozi refused immediately, but Obinna was not used to rejection. Soon, Obinna started showing his real nature. He demanded the property documents of Emeka's land and business. Ngozi refused. "This belongs to my children," she said. Obinna became angry. He threatened her. He insulted her. One night, he even tried forcing himself on her. Ngozi fought him off and ran away. After that night, she lived in constant fear, but Obinna was not finished. Obinna decided to use tradition to control her. In the village, Widows were sometimes forced to perform certain rites to prove they did not kill their husbands. Obinna began spreading rumors. Soon, the elders demanded that Ngozi perform the widowhood rites. Her hair was shaved. She was forced to wear mourning clothes. Worst of all, she had to swear before the village deity that she had no hand in Emeka's death. The ritual was humiliating, but Ngozi agreed because she knew she was innocent. She drank the bitter ritual water. She swore before the deity, and she cried as the village watched. Obinna smiled secretly. He believed the humiliation would break her, but something else began to happen. Soon after the ritual, Obinna returned to the native doctor. The man looked worried. "The spirits are demanding more sacrifice," he said. More animals, more money, more rituals. Obinna began spending everything he had, but the demands kept increasing. Soon, strange things began happening. He could not sleep. He heard voices at night. He saw his brother in his dreams. Emeka stood silently, staring at him. Obinna woke up screaming. The native doctor warned him again. "What you started is now following you." But Obinna had already gone too far.
Within weeks, Obinna began acting strangely. He shouted at invisible people. He walked around the village at night. Sometimes he laughed. Sometimes he cried. Villagers began whispering. Something was wrong. Even the native doctor refused to see him again. "You did not complete the sacrifices," the man said. "The spirits are angry." Obinna became more unstable every day. The guilt and fear were eating him alive.
Finally, the elders called a village meeting. They wanted to understand why Obinna was behaving so strangely. At first, he stayed quiet. Then suddenly, he began shaking. He grabbed his head and screamed, "I didn't mean to kill him." The crowd gasped. "I only wanted his wife. I only wanted his life." People stared in horror. The truth had come out. The man who organized his brother's burial, the man who bullied the widow, had secretly caused his brother's death. The village elders were furious. Obinna was handed over to the authorities. Ngozi finally found peace after months of suffering. The land and property were protected for her children. But the story of Obinna became a warning in the village. Greed destroyed him. Jealousy drove him to evil. And in the end, the very thing he wanted most, his brother's life, became the reason he lost his own freedom. Moral lesson. Some people think they can take what belongs to others, but greed always carries a price, and sometimes the truth finds its way out, no matter how deep it is buried. If you enjoyed this story, kindly subscribe to this channel. We have so many interesting stories you won't want to miss out.